Hi there. On weekends, we do reruns so that yours truly can take a couple days off. Look for a fresh new episode on Monday. Meanwhile, please enjoy this episode from this day from a previous year. Thank you so much for your indulgence and loyalty, and have a great weekend. Enjoy! Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for December 17th. December 17th is the 351st day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 352nd in leap years, with 14 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is sfectious. Sfectious is an adjective, and it's got a story. And here it is. The golden digger wasp is a thread-waisted wasp that nests in the ground. She'll dig a burrow, which you might see as a little hole in the ground about as big around as my pinky finger, just big enough for the wasp to enter and exit comfortably, about a ½ inch or centimeter across. Once she's dug that burrow, she'll go out and capture a katydid, which is a bright green insect that looks like a cross between a grasshopper and a cricket. She'll sting it just enough to stun or incapacitate it, but not kill it, and then bring it back to her burrow. She lays the katydid down on the ground near the opening of her burrow and then goes inside to inspect the chamber where she intends to lay her egg. Then she comes back to the surface to collect the katydid, to take into the chamber she just inspected, where she will install the katydid and lay an egg. I've actually observed this behavior in nature. It all looks like brilliant, thoughtful behavior. Here's the thing, though. If the katydid gets moved or repositioned in any way, like if a slight breeze readjusts the position of the katydid in relation to the hole, or if you, the observer, move it a short distance or to another place around the hole, if you even shift the position of the katydid, change the angle of the position, move the katydid from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, or from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, or spin it around by any degree, flip it upside down. When she comes out of the burrow, she will move it back to its original position, go back into the burrow to inspect the chamber, and then return for the katydid. If, as an experiment, you undertake to move the katydid when she's in the burrow, this process can replay as many times as you wish to repeat it. You'll get tired of messing with her way before she figures it out, because she won't figure it out. This behavior, which initially appears brilliantly thoughtful but is actually unthinking routine, is in the golden digger wasp considered a form of genetic determinism. An adjective has been created to describe this behavior, and it's sfectious, a word coined from the genus name of the wasp. And with that, Admiral James O. Richardson was the commander-in-chief of the United States fleet when he expressed concerns that while advanced bases like Guam and Hawaii were necessary, he felt that funding and work to prepare those bases for wartime use had been woefully deficient. He had some other concerns too, but he was particularly concerned that the Pacific Fleet would be a logical first target in the event of war with Japan. Apparently, people higher up the chain didn't like what he had to say. There's an old saying that the squeaky wheel gets the oil, but in this case, the squeaky wheel didn't get the oil, it got changed. It got replaced. Admiral Richardson was replaced by Navy 4-star Admiral Husband Edward Kimmel. Interesting name, Husband, isn't it? Apparently, Admiral Kimmel was a creature of habit, everything the same all the time, and this apparent utter predictability made him vulnerable. This extremely predictable behavior, this sfectiousness, can lend itself to vulnerability, just as it may have done to Admiral Kimmel when the Japanese in fact did decide to attack Pearl Harbor, as Admiral Richardson had predicted they might. And so it is that on December 17, 1941, that being the man in charge when the attack happened, 4-star Admiral Husband Edward Kimmel was relieved of his command of the U.S. Pacific Fleet as part of a shakeup of officers in the wake of the Pearl Harbor disaster and knocked down to a 2-star Rear Admiral position. He retired the following year. folks. Shake things up once in a while. Be dependable, but not too predictable. On December 17, 1969, the United States Air Force Project Blue Book officially closed its study of UFOs. You know, there sure are some unusual and unexplainable things that happen in the skies. Lights in the sky, flying in unexplainable ways, and more. On the other hand, where are the believable, sensible explanations? Where's the proof? I don't know. Seems to me like maybe Project Blue Book was created not so much to see what could be discovered or explained, but more to debunk, explain away, and quell any talk of UFOs, but that's just my opinion. Whatever their goal and purpose, the program was officially ended on December 17, 1969. Michael Jackson was visiting Paul and Linda McCartney in the early 1980s, Paul mentoring and Michael soaking up the benefit of Paul's experience. It was during this visit that they wrote and recorded the song Say, 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 and it was released later on in 1983. It became Jackson's 7th top 10 hit in a year, his 6th #1 single in the U.S. Released in October of that year, it sold over 1 million copies, qualifying it to be certified gold in December. It began its second week in the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 on December 17, 1984, where it remained for a total of 6 weeks, rolling into January of 1984. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include the link to my blog page that is called, no really. You can also find me on Rumble, Parler, BitChute, and Getter. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.